proud of Gregory. In Liberia, we don't appreciate our heroes and heroines. We kill them, we destroy them. We demonize them. So it's a country of no heroes. Because we demonize everybody. Everything that we should appreciate. To the extent that we demonize our own nation. These are experiences of one man that must help to shed light on us. We don't only see the photos, but we get the message of today's generation to begin to look on how we can now use our talent, our intellect, to benefit a world consumed in greed and difficulties. Tragedy of the world where nowadays you see brutality in all forms. We have an opportunity in our lifetime to do so. And so Gregory Lens speaks to all of us in no small way to see what we can do. Out of the ashes of the war, a new nation is being born. But all of us individually and collectively must give our best to our nation so that it can survive.
Yeah.
It is not about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. No. It is not about Samuel Kofi Woods. No. It is about our nation.
Yeah.
And beyond each of us, our individual desires and our hopes and dreams, our ambition, is a nation that is struggling to make it. Because all is not well yet. Now it tells us, it brings us to the point about the soul of those photos. As I said, what is the meaning? How do we connect to the souls of those photos? The souls of those photos are deeply linked to the soul of our nation. In those photos, you will see the agony in the eyes of children, the pains of our women, the abuse of the old and elderly, the massive destruction of our nation. But also in those souls, we should see the triumph of the Liberian nation.
Yeah.
The triumph of the human spirit. Each and every one in this room is connected to the soul in those photos. But yet, you have been able to persevere in due and reach this point and demonstrate that deep in the human spirit is the desire for justice and dignity.
Yeah.
And so as we look at those photos, we must focus on the possibility of the triumph of our nation. The soul of those photos tell us that Liberia has abundant natural resources. I was told a month ago that Liberia can be the largest diamond producing country in the world. Wow. Not only in Africa, but in the world. Is that justice we talk about? The photos tell us that never again must we discriminate and marginalize any sector of the country. That reconciliation must mean a desire to mutually respect each other and to deliver justice to our country. That truth must triumph. That we must not return to the dark days anymore, where justice will be for the strong, the mighty, the rich, and the powerful. But it must be a place for even the weak and the poor. It must be a place where those souls cry to us and say to us in our own eyes that in our struggle for us to put bread on our table, our dignity can be assured. by fighting for collective justice in Liberia. That your desire to get rich and be powerful must not be at the expense of the blood and the sweat and tears of others. That is what the soul in those photos tell us. The souls in those photos deeply link to the soul of the Liberian nation. It is painful sometimes when in the new Liberia we see the signs, negative signs creeping back, that our justice system remains weak and irresponsive to the needs of ordinary people. That the issue of corruption at all levels of the society remains a challenge to all of us. And when I say all levels of the society, I mean all levels of the society. In our homes, in our religious community, in our NGO community, in our government, corruption abounds. And sometimes I don't call it only corruption. I told my colleagues that it's a question, it's the integrity question.
Yes.
More than just corruption. So my friends, I'm saying that the souls in these photos are deeply linked to the Liberian soul. To liberate the Liberian soul will mean that we must turn from those vices of the past. We identify people on the basis of tribe. Our institutions, little associations, will fight over power. We plunder. And we loot. And yet we look only at those in government and in power. When even these little organizations reflect the breeding ground for leadership, for national leadership. If you cannot exemplify it in your little organization, yet you're demanding more, you lack the moral credentials to make those demands. I sit here in Pine many times coming to this country, traveling around the world and talking to Liberians. Or you hear conflict, cases in the courts. Our country is seeking redemption, but we must seek to redeem ourselves. The redemption for Liberia will come if we individually and collectively redeem ourselves. All around the United States, every time I read on the internet, they're taking people to court. People holding on to power. If you do that here, don't carry that to Liberia. Leave it right here, because the new Liberia, some of us are determined to change that country. Amen. And you know, the vices. You know, I was joking somebody in America, people work here seriously. They go back to Liberia, they think it's vacationing. And so they don't go to work on time, they don't do the kind of work they're supposed to be doing. It's not a joke, but let me warn that look, why are we building the policy framework and getting this thing going? It will not be the same. It will not be the same. Liberia is changing and will change for the better. It will change for the better. And it will have to be one or two persons who will do it. Who will do it. Those who will not stand it will have to fall by the wayside. Get off the way. Because generation was laid to reflect on the past, appreciate the present, and build a future of hope and promise. That is what we must do. Like no other moment in our history, this moment is important. Because sometimes we forget too soon. We forget too soon. Many of us in this room cannot even remember when we were eating the Bubba John and trying to survive.
I'll tell you.